So it's early September, and believe it or not, people are starting to request Christmas sheet music. It started downloading from my website, and I actually put out a request to our listeners for any suggestions on Christmas tunes that you want to learn. And I got a message back from Rowan Marshall who says, I think God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen would be cool. I love Beegie Adair's intro on this, but have no idea how to play it. So I actually went to listen to it. It's actually pretty cool. I like it a lot. So what I decided to do was lift the entire introduction, turn it into sheet music, and do a tutorial on it, which is what this video is going to be about. So essentially what I'm going to do is just walk you through the arrangement bar by bar, all the different chords. There is a lot to learn here about great chord progressions. And if you really want to up your game as a jazz piano player this year, it's a good idea to listen to this full tutorial as I'm going to explain in great detail the way she goes about her chord progressions. So we're going to get started in just a second. Just remember that if you like videos like this, just give it a thumbs up. That really helps the channel a lot. And if you'd like to subscribe, we'd love to have you. Let's get started with the tutorial right now. All right, let's get into this transcription that I did of Beegie Adair's version of God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen. Definitely the time of year to start taking a look at Christmas sheet music, and I appreciate you being here. What I'm going to do first is just play you the head through once, and I'm going to use the exact chords that she used, or pretty close. I mean, I did transcribe it, and you don't necessarily catch every note when you transcribe, but I think it's pretty close. And then when we come back from just that playing of the head, we're going to talk through it bar by bar, and I'm going to show you the most interesting chord progressions of this version. So some really nice chord changes going on there. Let's get into it and start looking at it from a bar to bar perspective. So the first thing you'll notice is that there is this block chord movement in the bass that just goes through the line cliche of F minor. So you've got in the first bar a straight F minor chord, then an F minor with a sharp 5, then an F minor with a 6th, and then back to the sharp 5. Actually, that should be sharp 5 here. Now, of course, you've heard that in James Bond flicks and lots of other situations, but it definitely works here for this particular melody. Now, you'll notice I'm taking some liberties with the melody. And I'm doing that from just a rhythmic perspective. So while it's only written as quarter notes, please take some liberties yourself. Like, it shouldn't really sound like this. So mess around with the rhythm a little bit. Speed up and slow down. So your ear is going, okay, what is happening there? And that's what really everyone wants to know about being a great jazz piano player, is how those chords sound. Where do they come from? Now, the reason why these two chords, and it's just a simple 2 minor 7 flat 5 to a F or 5-7 with a sharp 5 to 1, and it's going to 1 in the next bar, 1 minor, of course. It's a 2-5 of a minor key. But why does it sound so great? Because by itself, it doesn't sound that great. But in the context of where it comes from, it sounds great because what preceded it was pretty straight ahead. Classical in nature, not a lot of rich chords. It's just this line cliche. And then Beegie just kind of hits you over the head with this 2-5. It just works so well because it's kind of out of the blue. And that's what the ear really notices, is the difference between the chords. It's not necessarily the chords themselves. It's, going from simple to rich, like rich meaning dissonant and it needs to resolve, or you've got pretty straight ahead that doesn't need resolve and then it immediately goes to dissonance. And that's what's really cool about it. Voicings themselves are not that complicated. It's just C, half diminished seventh in root position, and then you've got the tritone in the left for F7, and then the sharp 5, the root in the 5th. Nice chord. Not complicated, but it sounds great, like I said, in context. Let's go and take a look at the next line. So it's going from B minor 7 to A7 with a sharp 5 and a sharp 9. So we need to think about that like just a 2-5 of A flat. So this is 1, and this is the 2-5 that's going before it. Okay, so 2 minor 7 to 5-7. So you've got B flat, pretty much in root position. Now, 5-7 would be E flat. So we all know that this is the tritone substitution of E flat. They have the same tritone, right? A G tritone, which is the 3rd of the chord, or the 7th of the chord in A. So that's what makes that chord sound the way it does, but you're just changing the bass notes, really. And that means going down a half step instead of jumping up to E flat. So to here, it goes from here to here, and then down another half step. So again, the bass is just descending here by half steps. Now, the A7 with a sharp 5 and a sharp 9 is really like an F chord on the top over the tritone. Okay, so think of that like either an E flat 7 with a sharp 11, if the bass note were E flat, or an A7 with a sharp 9, sharp 5. Okay, really just the same chord, it's just you're changing the bass note. So this is my favorite part, and I love what she's done here. So she's heading to the destination, which is, there's a couple of destinations. The first one is this E flat sus chord, which is really just B flat minor over E flat. Okay? So we're heading there, and there's a 5 chord in front of it, and then in front of that is just 2, we're going to call these passing chords. They capture the melody note, which is B flat to A flat. But the first one is a half step above C, so that's D flat. And it's an open chord, which means you've got 5ths in the bass and then 4ths in the right hand. So like a D flat, perfect 5th, with a C7 sus 4 built-in 4ths over top. And then this chord, which is a B flat 7 sus, so the same chord, just down a whole step in the right hand, and then in the left hand you've got a 4th, which is just a C perfect 4th. So we went from D flat perfect 5th to C perfect 4th, just passing chords. And then this chord is just so lovely. It just makes everything sound amazing. So that's just 5 of E flat, but you've got, in order from the bass note up, you've got B flat, A flat, so the 7th, and then you've got the flat 9, and the 3rd, the sharp 11, and the 13th, making it a B flat 13 with a flat 9, sharp 11. Just so nice. If you played that by itself, everybody'd think you were making mistakes, but in the context of where it's headed and what came before it, it sounds lovely. So from the beginning of the line, doesn't that sound great? I just love that. And then just a tritone substitution here. Again, we've had this chord before. It's just a half step above A flat. So instead of E flat 7, it's the tritone sub, which is A7. Nothing too drastic there. She's just done a simple 2/5 of F. Sure, so minor 2/5, which means instead of G minor 7, it's G minor 7 flat 5 or G half diminished 7th. This is the same chord. This chord here, just in a different inversion. So again, here, you've got the exact same thing as above. One of the things that I do is I sometimes put in an E natural here. I'm not sure if she did that in the recording, but it does sound nice with the E natural. It's just a fifth of the chord. Sometimes more notes you put in, it just sounds a little bit better. And then let's tackle the last line here. Just A flat going up. And then here, instead of 2/5-1 of F minor, she's got this flat 13 or sharp 5 of F minor, so a half step above the 5th. So this is the 5th of the chord, the C7 with flat 9 and sharp 5, and before that's just a half step above. She could have done 2/5 like this, but she did the half step movement instead. And then just a simple chord at the end to get you back to the beginning. Okay, now one of the things I did do was I took some liberties with a second time ending, which is here. Instead of playing this whole thing repeated, I made something new. So the first part of this is just the melody notes using the 6th diminished scale. This is the Barry Harris stuff that we've talked about before in contrary motion. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll post a link up here in a corner to a Barry Harris video which talks about the 6th diminished scale in contrary motion. So you've got this like F minor going to the diminished to F minor, and then another minor chord there. So you've got contrary motion in the left hand where it's going down and the right hand's going up. And then I've got a C sus chord which is just built in fourths. So you've got fourths there, and in the right hand, you've got a D sus. So C sus, D sus, D7 sus over C sus. And then these two chords. So let me play you Bee Gees ending. It's like this. And here's the one that I wrote. So yeah, very different, a little bit more dissonant. I think the thing that makes it sound so interesting is you've got an E chord here over G7. So G13 with a flat 9, and then E flat over G flat, which is just a half step below. So one more time, Bee Gees ending. And then my ending. Just gives you some idea that different piano players approach reharmonization very differently. Now, I may have done some things that BG would do in the head section, but I feel that the ending was not necessarily weak, but it could have been a lot stronger, which is why I threw in this second time ending. So again, if you like videos like this one, I'm going to post just before we go another link to the Barry Harris 6th diminished scale in contrary motion video. It's a great video. People really like that one. And it does specifically help you a lot with the way you do your chord voicings, especially block chords with melody notes. So I'm gonna post a link to that just before we go. For now, if you'd like to give the video a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate that. And if you'd like to subscribe to the channel, we'd love to have you. The more subscribers we have, the better the channel is. So just go and hit the little bell when you subscribe and we'll notify you of the next video that we're making. And we're making a couple of videos a week at this time, sometimes 3 or even 4. So there's a lot of material here on Jazzmentl. I really appreciate the fact that you joined me. Thanks so much for your time. I will see you in another Jazzmentl tutorial.